Summer is the best time to read books about the beach, books about romance. I think it's time to read about horror. Hello beautiful bookworms, my name is Katarina and welcome to my channel, and today I'm going to be doing a book review for a third installment of a series that I've already talked about here in the channel and that I'm really enjoying so far, and that I thought I wanted to review the third book as well. So I'm talking about the third installment of the Manor series. This one is The House That Falls by J. Alexander. I have already read the first two installments in this series. The first one is The House That Burns by Mike Salt, and the second one is The House That Bleeds by Jamie Stewart. I have both of them right there on my indie horror author collection, and I'm very proud to say that I now have the third and I have already read it, and so I had to come here and make a review. So first of all, if you haven't seen my review for the first two, I would encourage you to do so. It's up there in the cards, hopefully. I hope. And so this third one, first of all, before getting into the third one, I have to say that you don't have to read these books in order. Yes, the authors know each other. Yes, it's a series with different authors and they try and put their twist on their actual books, but you can get the book that you want and read the book that you want first. Obviously, if there's an order, you should start with the order, but you're not missing anything because each different author portrays different characters and different situations. But what is in common with the Manor series? What happens is this is a series that has to do with a haunted house. A house that can appear anywhere, any moment in time. And that house wants to feed, and it feeds on human lives, obviously. And so the first installment, I do believe it's set on 2012. No, I'm not sure. Anyway, the first of them is set on modern day time in America. The second one is set in Tula, 1883. And this third one is actually set in England in the 17th century. So we are following the climax of the English Civil War, which, again, it's a very different setting, but it's still in the same series, and that's one of the things that I enjoy, and I also enjoy seeing all of the different styles of all of these writers. First of all, out of the blue, it's a series that I would recommend, but most of all, I would really recommend The House That Falls. The descriptions in here are amazing. It's the first book that I read by J. Alexander, I believe, and I am not disappointed. I knew that the writing was going to be good. I knew that the descriptions were going to be amazing because you can see that he pays so much attention to detail, to the setting where he is, to the place that he wants to build in this house, to the ambience that is going through our characters and through our characters as well. He constructs characters in a really short amount of time, and he makes us care for them. And he also constructs a narrative that is deeply involving. So I have heard, and I am of this opinion, that it isn't supposedly as haunting and scary as the other two. I will say that it's not as obviously scary as the other two. The scares in J. Alexander's books are very based, apparently, at least in this book, is very based on the psychological setting of the characters and how the descriptions of infamous details of what is going on around them is molding that conscience that they have of the bad things that are going to happen. So, in this particular book, I'm not spoiling any of the others. As I told you, you don't have to read them in order. And in this particular book, it states that King Charles has fallen. And so it follows, obviously, the English Civil War, the climax of it. And it follows Roundheads that are still struggling against the Cavalier battalions. And one of them in particular, Morgan, he just wakes up, he's wounded, and he's found by three people. They are supposed to be the Nowhere Boys, which are a very specific group of people that were sent to do some creepy and terrible missions in the war. As those people existed, we already know. And he's found by them, and they're like, okay, but we still have enemy forces, and so we have to go into this house that just appeared because we don't know if we're going to survive a direct confrontation, because we're like 4 people and they are like 75 at least. And so they get into the house, and when they get there, they start getting separated little by little, and they start to understand that the house is a little bit more than what it seems to be. I really like the descriptions, as I've said. I really like the environment, I really like the house. Every single book that I read about this Price Manor just makes me so interested about this house. I've actually begun to think of how the origins of the house have just come up, and I don't know if there's going to be a book about that, but shit, I think about that, okay? I have theories, I really enjoy it. I really like how, if you've read the other two, there's a nod to the other two books in here, but there's also a nod to specific things of the indie horror community that if you are in Bookstagram and you follow all of these authors, you will catch on. And there's probably more details that I haven't catched on because there are just too many people doing this, and you can't know all of them and you can't know what they're going to write about. But it's really, really interesting. I really enjoyed the premise of these soldiers that are just so broken by the war, but they just found a new enemy, and it's not the war, it's not humans, it's a devil house. And how are they going to get out of the house that they thought they will be safe in when there's the enemy outside and there's the enemy inside? And the explanation for the name of the house of the book in this case, so The House That Falls, was really beautiful in a very sad and deeply worrisome kind of way, but it was incredibly beautiful. I really loved, and now that I understand why it's called The House That Falls, it might be one of my favorite titles. I haven't seen the rest of the titles, obviously, but it's a title with meaning, and if you're going to read this, you will see why. So I definitely want to read more of J. Alexander's works. I will state that it's not as gory and bloody as the other two were, but it's still impactful, and I really think that if you went full on the gore and blood and other unpleasantries, it wouldn't be his writing in this, and he wouldn't portray what he actually wanted to portray, which was the change in their mental state. And also, I would actually risk in saying that he wanted to give more clues about the house and the people that were there and the creatures that were inside, than specifically like just maiming your entire character and killing character development. I really thought that it was really filled with character development, and I think it's important as well. And I do think the ending is not what we thought it was going to be at the time. Some things were clearer and other things were not, and overall it was such a really enjoyable experience. It's such a short book, and it's perfect for a summer vacation with horror. I really enjoyed it. I want to read more of J. Alexander's works. And now I'm on a roll, and I want more Price Manor. And if you haven't started a Price Manor series, please, first of all, you'll be helping the indie horror community of writers, which it's incredible. These are the people that are now writing horror, that are now trying to bring horror to you and to the community of writing. And I think that people should invest on them because they're going to find really beautiful gems in here. But that aside, this is a really cool collection. This is a really cool series. It's really something to see how so many different authors can make a story work with just one premise and then just throwing it out there what they want to do. And I think that for this one was particularly great. Also, I want to add that J. Alexander is the one that does the covers for the series. You can see how this cover is amazing. I personally love it because it has purple on it. So it's a very purple-white book, which is why I like it. But if you look at the first one, and the second one, they're also masterpieces. And just for that alone, I have to give him the clap because, I mean, do you want to design a future book that I write? Because this is just creativity and beauty on its own. And it's just so dark and terrible, but at the same time, so awesome, you know? And it has everything to do with what happens in these books. So if that hasn't piqued your curiosity, I don't know what else will, and so I will finish my review here because I have literally nothing else to say. So that's going to be all for this review. Okay, focus on me. Yeah, thank you. So that's going to be all on this review of the third installment of the Price Manor series. I am really hopeful that the next one comes out soonish so that I can read it and review it as well for you guys, because I'm going to review all of them. They're different books, they're different writers, and the writing style is different, and they're different people that I want you to know and that I think are worth knowing. So that's going to be all for today. If you've read this series, if you want to read this series, tell me something in the comments down below. If you know any of the works of these authors besides this series and that I don't know, just tell me in the comments down below. No spoilers, you already know. That's going to be all for today. If you like this video, leave a like or subscribe, and happy readings to you all. Bye!